Can you hear me okay?
No, sir.
Now?
No, sir.
Hello.
Sir, your voice is not clear.
Hey. Yes. So today we'll talk about what is called as single row functions. So we'll see. Let me open live SQL. Okay, I appreciate my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Get started. So I was saying that we'll talk about functions. Okay, these are we call them single row or multiple row functions. It's not perfect. Okay, let it come. Okay, so yeah, so we call them single row or multi-row functions. So single row functions are one which works on each row. Okay, so for example, if you want to find the length, okay, and then you have multiple row functions, okay, which results more than one row, right? So if you want to find sum of a value, average of a column, okay, sum of a column. So for the entire column, okay, entire column in the sense whatever I give as condition. If I don't give any condition, okay, it's going to give me entire one value for the entire column. Okay, if I find sum, average, length, okay. So these are all your single row functions. But there are some multiple row functions as well. So today we'll talk about the single row functions. Okay. So let's take an example. I'm going to talk about row num, right? We did row num yesterday, isn't it? So let's do that again. So why it's not yet starting? Let me do it again. Yeah, now it's come. Okay, so let's say I say select first name, comma, last name from HR dot employees. Okay, it's going to give me the entire content of employees. Okay, now I want to give a condition. Okay, I want to give a condition that let me try and row num. Okay, where row num is less than 5. What will it do? Quick, it's going to restrict the number of values that you will get. It will give us only top 4 value. Less than 5 means 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to give us top 4 values. Okay. Now I want to add a column, new column, which will be based on the calculation. Okay. So we have, let me do star. I think it's called commission. Just want to see the spelling again. Commission PCT, right? Okay. So I'll say commission PCT. You see here, it's all hyphen, hyphen. That means these people do not get commission, right? So these people do not get commission. Commission percentage, PCT percent, commission percentage. Okay. So I want to make it as 0. I don't want to see hyphen. I want to see as 0. Okay. So for that, you have to use a function. Okay, inbuilt function. Just like in Python, we have inbuilt function. Here also we have inbuilt functions. And the function that we're going to use is called NVL. Okay. What does NVL mean? Okay. NVL, okay, stands for I mean, so there are various ways to handle null values. Okay, so NVL stands for that if it is null, then return. Okay, so it's like a condition which will check if it is null or not. So I'm going to say NVL, it's a function. Okay, so I'm going to type NVL, and inside this, I'm going to check a pass a value argument. That's what we call it, right? So I'm going to say commission PCT, and what it says is if commission PCT is in null value. Okay, NVL is short form for null value. If it is null, then give 0. Otherwise, take its original value. So NVL is a single row function, right? So it's going to work on a single row. So when I say NVL, okay, it is going to work on just one row. So see, I gave 0, it gave 0. Okay, I want you can even say some text value. Uh, no commission, something like that. Okay, okay. Now you see here what happens. NVL, okay, can only work on numbers. Okay, it cannot work on text. So here when we check, okay, the output can only be a number. Okay, it can be 0, or you want to give some default 10% everyone. So you can give 10% everyone to everyone, but the values has to be there in else. So NVL, okay, only replaces the null value with numbers. Okay, so you give 0 here, and it works on each row, isn't it? Similarly, yesterday we saw upper, right? Let's say I want to make this as upper case, first name. Okay, you can give this as upper. Okay, if you want last name to be lower case or lower case, so you can say all lower. Okay, um, Okay. Now we had job ID, right? Job ID. So job ID is all capital, right? So let's make it as init cap. Okay, so init cap is for init cap is for initialization capital letter. Okay, let's run this. So it was all caps, right? It got converted to init cap. So the first value is capital, first value of every word. Okay, lower will made it all lowercase, right? Cap upper made it all capital letters, right? Same functions we have in Python as well, right? Okay, yesterday we saw concatenated. Okay, we saw concatenate, we saw um, substring, right? We saw substring as well, right? What does substring does? It gives us part of the string based on what value we give. Okay, so for example, I want first four letter of and last name, right? So I will say sub str. Okay, so sub str, it takes the value, right? It takes the value. Now I have to say starting from where and ending where. Okay, so I'm saying starting from 2 ending 4. Okay, so first we have lowercase. So first it is converting into lowers, right? So first it has converted into lowercase, and then I'm doing substring. So just like Python, the inner function, okay, first will be called, right? Then the outer, and finally the outermost, right? So 2 comma 4 starts with 2 and goes up to 4 characters like 2, 3, and 4. So this is going to give us 4 characters. Now here you see the first one does not have 4 characters, right? Because it's a king, and k we have already because we are saying 2, so it will give us only 3. Okay, maximum values will be 4, but if it doesn't have 4, of course we can't get 4. Okay. Okay, so this is how you can use upper, substring, NVL, init cap. Okay, let's use padding. Okay, we have done padding in Python also. How do we do padding in Python? Anybody remembers? Okay, when we used that flower bracket, okay, in format or f string, in that after decimal, okay, what we did was for string it would do the padding, correct? Isn't it? So when you say bracket of 10, okay, it would reserve 10 spaces, and when you say less than 10, okay, by default it would leave the blank spaces, right? But if you say less than, okay, so we use less than sign, that means we are doing on the left padding. When we use right greater than, we used right padding. That was used for right padding, right? So sign decided whether you want to do left or right or center. Okay, so first thing is padding, and then the text that we'll be putting in the spaces, do you want to put it on the left side or right side or the middle, right? So for align purpose we use that less than, greater than, and that caret sign. Okay, so we need to give how many spaces and what should we fill the blank spaces with. In Python, when you don't give anything, it would fill with blank spaces. Okay, so let's try to do for first num here. Okay, I'm going to delete it. Now I'm going to use rpad. Rpad means right side padding. Okay, so it's padding and alignment. Both is given by one function. rpad means padding and align it on the right side. Okay, so rpad, okay, and let's say you say first name, okay, comma, how many spaces you want to reserve, right? So it's like saying greater than 20 in Python, right? And you say greater than underscore 20, sorry, use single quotation, underscore 20. That means if the name is only 5 letters, the next 15 places should be filled with underscore, right? So it is reserving 20 spaces, but you have a name with only 5 character, 5 letter. So rest 15 would be filled with blank spaces. So where in those 5 it will be added? It will be added on the right. That's what rpad means. Okay, let's run this and see. So see here, this has only 5, right? So your padding became on right. Now let's say I want to do padding on the left. Okay, now I'll do lpad and I will run. Okay, so this is how you can use rpad or lpad. Okay, so this is one more concept we'll discuss about. It's called dual. So there is a dummy table called dual. Okay, every oracle, okay, this is specific to oracle, every oracle database has a dummy table called dual. What does that mean is, when you are performing some operation for which table is not required. Now, if you want to know their first name, last name, salary, salary commission, etc., those information will be in employee table, right? So that's why we are doing hr.employees. But let's say if you want to find square root of 36, you know, then square root of 36 is a generic operation that you want to perform, but it will not be part of any table. So we can use a dummy table called dual. Okay, so you can say select star from dual. So let's see what you get. Okay, so dual has one column and one row. It has column header called dummy. Okay, and it has one cross value. Okay, that means it has nothing. It's a dummy table. Okay, and we can use. Okay, so in fact, I can even say select 36 from hr dot employees. hr dot employees, I think spelling should be correct. Okay, one error occurred. What is that error? Mm, let's see. First, let's see if it's working correctly or not. The spelling is correct or not, right? So select star from hr dot emp and row by, that's correct, right? I think then I have to, yeah, I think it's down for some reason. Okay, so let's wait for a couple of seconds. It should be up. So what do? We dual dual is a dummy table, okay, and which we can use it to perform our any kind of operation for which you don't need a table. Okay, so instead of using these real tables, problem is if you are using these tables, there could be because of our mistake we could make some error, right? Or because the table might have large volume of data, it can give us a slow result. So instead of that, you know, um, Oracle has created a dummy table with just one row and one column. Okay, so one column is called dummy, and row has blank or cross, like it doesn't have any value. Okay, so that it becomes easy for us to work with. Okay, so for example, coming. So these functions can be used in column also. Okay, so I'll just show you how to use without a column value, and dummy value will use it, and then we will run it against main table. What happened? Mhm. What happened? Give me a second. There's something wrong with my Chrome browser. For last few days, Chrome is crashing. Yeah, something wrong with my Chrome, guys. 1 second. I'm connecting through the browser. Yeah. Okay, it's doing better here. Okay. So select uh, 36 from HR.employee. Okay. So see, You got 36, 36, 36, 36 against each of the rows. So I'm saying just 36. Okay. It is giving me 36, but it is giving me, uh, you know, same as the number of rows that are there in this table. So that's why dummy table is useful. So if you want to use it as a calculator or anything like that, we run it against dummy table. So here, if I say 36 from dual, okay. So this is a dummy table which is added when you install Oracle. Okay. So now you got 36 here, and you want to put some number here, some header. I will say runs. Okay. The header will change to run. Right. If you want to perform square root, right? So we have SQRT, square root. Okay. You get 36. I can perform on HR employees as well. So HR dot employees, and I say square root. Instead of 36, I gave salary. Okay. We don't want to square root the salary, but this is just to see the output here. Right. So you see this? This is how we can perform square root. You can perform in a number as well, or you can perform on the entire column. Right. So you have truncate. Okay. So I'll say trunk is the function, and I want to first perform the square root, and then I'm performing on that truncate. Okay. So what happens? Okay. So by default, it has removed the decimal places. It has truncated the decimal places. Okay. Now, if you want to have some decimal places, I'll say -2. Okay. And I run it. So what happened? -2 means 100. It has truncated to 100. Okay. If I say -1, it will truncate it to 10. Okay. So 154 became 150. Okay. If we do 1000, then everything will become 0. Did you get it? What minus does? It, 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 what do you say? It truncates, or it converts into the nearest value that we give. So when we give -1, we are saying to the nearest 10, truncate it to 10, not nearest, but truncate it to 10. 2 means truncate it to 100. 3 means truncate it to 1000. So if it is 1000 plus something, 1050, it will be 1000. If it is 800, it will become 0. Right? So that's the use of truncate. Okay. Then you have something called as okay. Here we'll okay. So again we'll come back to dual. Okay, or let it be. Let the value repeat. Okay. So I'm going to use mod, and I'm going to give a single value here. So I'm going to say 25, 7. Do you remember what is mod in Python? What was mod in Python? Nobody remembers? Mod is a percentage. Percentage that we used in operators was called mod. What did it do? It gave us
Sir, divisor value.
not divisor, reminder.
Okay. Oh, sorry, sorry. Sir,
Right?
yes.
So for divisor, what do we do?
Sir.
Double slash.
Yes.
Okay, double slash will be a divisor. Mod is for percentage for reminder. Okay, so same here. It's here we don't give percentage, but we write mod. So mod function is used to get the reminder. So if I say 20, then 20, quick will give us 6, isn't it? 7 2s are 14, and then 20 minus 14, 6. Okay, so it will give us 16. Sorry, 6. Um, absolute. Let's try the absolute value. Okay, what is absolute? What does absolute do? Nobody remembers? It will give us the absolute value. Absolute value means positive values. If you give positive, it will give positive. If you give negative, also it will give us positive. So it is to remove the minus sign, isn't it? Similarly, you have floor and ceiling. Okay, so you have something called as round. Okay, there's something called as round. There's something called as truncate, floor, and okay. So what I'll do is I'll say round 111.9 928, let's say. Okay, so this is the number I gave. Round 112, okay, comma up to 2 decimal places. Okay, so I'll say this, Control C, round, comma, okay, trunk, I'll call it as trunk, then floor, okay, floor, oops, trunk, I don't want to do it. We know what is meant to, right? Floor and ceiling. Okay, see 111.928. Okay, I'll call it as ceiling. I'll call it as flooring. Let's say. Okay, from dual. So see, rounding is a rounding that we do. So I said 2 decimal places. When I give 2, it means up to 2 decimal places. So 9 to 8, right? Since 8 is more than 5, you got 9 3. If I make it as 2 here, you would get only 9 2, right? Truncate removes the decimal part. Totally decimal part is removed. By default, it took as 1, right? So complete decimal part is removed. Flooring, okay, floor is like rounding, but here it just sees the lower value, lower integer value. Okay, lower integer value 111 point. Even if you give 99999, it will do it to floor. Floor means what? If you see a house, floor is down and ceiling is top. So it's like if you are somewhere in the mid-air, you are pulled to the floor. Okay, so even if you give 0.999, it will, okay, it will put you to 111 only. Okay, So here, if you do 999 also, it will pull you down to the floor. Ceiling, sorry, not here. Here I meant. Ceiling will push you to the next integer value. So even if it is 000, okay, 1, okay, it will make you 112. So example is, let's say, um, let's say you have some algebra problem, okay, and the answer is, okay, question is, how many people will be able to do the work, right? You get 11.9, okay, as answer. So when you get 11.9, okay, so will you write 11.9 people or 11 people or 12 people? Think and tell me. You're solving algebra problem, okay, answer is how many people will be able to do the work, and based on the formula you calculated, answer came 11.9. Now will you write 12, 11 or 11.9? 11.9 is wrong because you cannot have 11.9 people. You won't cut the people into 1/9 and take to the work, right? So in that case, okay, you need 12 is the answer, okay, because, okay, 11.9 people you need, 11 people won't be able to do it. 11.9 people will not, possible to take, right? So you, in that case, you'll perform ceiling. So whatever answer comes, okay, in last you will say ceiling of the formula, whatever formula is there, okay. So that's where ceiling is used. We don't round it off. We don't say 11.5 or 11.1 means 11, 11.9 means 12. We don't say that. Okay, if the answer is 11.1 also, that means 11 people cannot work. You need 11.1%, but you cannot cut and take 0.1. So you have to say 12 people, right? So in that case, you are using ceiling. Okay, floating is when you reverse, right? Okay, so there, even if it is 11.1, okay, or 11.9, you'll only say 11. Okay, so round will see the value. Okay, round will see the value. Okay, the actual value, and based on that, it will either do the flooring or the ceiling. Okay, okay. If I don't mention the number of decimal places, otherwise, the decimal places you can do. Truncate will do the flooring, but truncate also has a special meaning. Okay, ceiling will do the truncate. Okay, with no parameter. Okay, that means it will simply drop the decimal part. Okay, whatever be the value. Ceiling will increase it, bump it to the next integer value, irrespective of the value, just like flooring. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we'll do another, like some operations we'll perform. You can do plus minus operation as well. Okay. So if you want to know what is the number of or how many days employee has been in, okay, let me do select star and see if we have higher date here or not. From HR.employee. Okay, I'm saying HR.employees. Okay, so here you have higher date, right? Okay, so I want to know how many months, how many year, how many days this person has completed. Okay, as of today. Okay, as of today, how many days this person has completed. Okay, so let's try this. I'm going to say first name, comma, last name, comma, say higher date, comma, okay, sys date, okay, minus sys dates minus higher date. days in company, something like this. Oops. Select in company from, right? I missed from. Okay. So see, this is the number of days in company. Higher date was June 2003. Okay. So do June 2003. So it's almost 13, okay, 18 years, right? Okay. I started my career at also around same time. So 6,730 from, so sys date is going to give us current date, today's date. If you want to find today's date, you know, in SQL we use sys date, and we'll see that again. Okay, so here sys date minus high date, which is greater? Of course, sys date is greater, right? Today's date is greater than yesterday's date, right? Okay, so if you want to know how many days in a company today, you get this. Okay, or you can say even truncate. You know, you don't want decimal places, so you'll say, okay, truncate and show me. So 6,730 days they have completed in office. Okay, if you want to know number of months, okay, so I'm going to use, okay, so truncate sys date higher date. Okay, now see, if you want to find, okay, number of months, we have one more function called, okay, MONTH wrong, right? Single S. Okay, we have something called as month between. Okay, so let me put this here. You have MONTHS, months between. Okay, months between, and in this case we give two values, comma, not minus. Okay, so I'm asking months between sys date and higher date. How many months are between? That's what it means. Months between means how many months are there between sys date and higher date. Okay, and this will be renamed as months in company, and let's run and see. So you get 221 months, right? Again, you apply truncate, the decimal places will be removed. Okay, so it is 221 months that person has worked in that company. Okay, here something called as next day, last day. Okay, so you can use that as well. Okay, you can use next day. So let's say okay, let me open our SQL note. I'll start saving there. Right. Today's date is 19th November 2021. Right? Okay. So I'm going to Control X, Control V. Okay. Now we'll work on some more date related things. Okay. I want to add say months to sys date or higher date. Okay, so you can say, okay, so first let's do this. Select sys date from dual. You see, 19th November 2021, that's the date. Okay, it picks from Windows system. Okay, so if you're in a different time zone, it will give you different time. Okay, so it picks it from the here, the clock here. Whatever you have here, same thing will be shown here. Okay, so sys date from dual, you get it here. I want to add, let's say, next day. Okay. So what is the next day of this date? Next day of this date. Date. Remember, this is date, and what we're going to do is, oops, it should be okay. Next day, next day, the invalid number of arguments. Okay. Last day. Yeah. So see, last day is going to give us the last date of this month. Okay. So November has 30 days, so it will give us 30th November. If I run it on December, okay, it will give us 31st December. Okay. Next day should also work. I don't know why it's not working. Next day also takes only one input. To select next day. Okay, I'll check that. Okay. All right, next day is not working. Okay. So the last day will give us the last day of the month. Add months will add months to the date. So this date plus 5 will give us 5 months from now. Okay. So here you see this will be same. The date will be same. Month will be 5 months from now. So November plus 5 month is April. And of course, year will be 2022. Okay. So we also have like add date, add month, add time. Okay. Um, so it's almost 1 hour. What we'll do is we'll end it here. Okay. And we will do lot more date functions in the next class. Okay. So next time when we meet, we will perform date related functions, and then after that we'll get into the important one, that is aggregate functions, subqueries, joins. Okay. So the next 2-3 weeks we'll be able to wrap it up. Okay, I told you, right? Select is the only thing which is what you need to learn, right? Create table, insert, update, delete, whatever we have learned is good enough. That's what we know. We need to know. Select itself can get complex. Okay. So we'll end it here. We'll see you next week. Right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.